Keep coming a little bit. Yep, anywhere right there is fine.
And you can tell us when to start. I'll go first because I got the thing.
Oh, I'm gonna go first because I need a sweater.
Whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Nancy Marascio, and the reason I'm part of the introducer is that Amber was a student of mine at River Valley Community College. She came in with all kinds of ability about writing, was a beautiful writer, an artist besides, and all she lacked was confidence. And she's still shaky today, but that is normal because that is what writers do when they have special work to present.
Well, Nancy and I had a bit to do about who was going to introduce you, so we decided we'd both do it. We were arguing about who's going first. This is both. But every now and then you see a poetic star movement, and you're looking at it right now. You're going to hear a lot more about Amber in the poetic world. I taught her, I shouldn't say taught her poetry, because I don't think you could teach poetry. I'm more like a poetry midwife. I just let Amber express what was deep inside her. And she's done a wonderful job at it. So you're in for a rare treat tonight.
And she'll continue.
I'm just gonna go home. I love you both very much. Whoa. Right. So thank you, Center for the Arts and New London Inn for inviting me to read. Can you stop the music?
They're going to.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for inviting me to the reading this Tapestry Tuesday, and especially I thank my lovely audience. I will be reading poems that are meant to reflect how durable the human spirit is in the midst of trial and woe, and music obviously helps to loneliness, insecurities, and to the extremes of grief. I love it. Through all of these, poetry endures. Where for centuries we humans created such an art that restored us. Last year, I taped a fortune cookie message to my laptop to remind myself of my own endurance since childhood. It says, the human spirit is stronger than anything that can happen to it. Poetry, art, and music brought me through the inferno of high school, where many people failed at kindness. In the meantime of cruelty, my spirit sought something that had meaning, something that provided a safe harbor. I realized that all of that abuse from students and faculty and on into adulthood, such conflicts are petty. Nature, wilderness is far more powerful. My poem titled Harboring the Imperfect. And also the cover artist.
Here's a speaker.
Reflects this. My poem. Harboring the Imperfect. Beyond the ventricles of snowflake irises, spring outlasts us, weeping out these nights of ice. Earth shifts and gives way from spark green lawn to snow melted streams. Spring outlasts us. Our mortality wrenched in a sheath, stark in its March wind breaths, unease in the finch's unrest. The partridge berry sees nothing of this, cusped and christened beneath snow's frost. Unlimited, unbound, bring on the furrowed heart. Be it a fever or facade, keeping the final apple plum. The closing stanza of this poem helps get me out of bed in the morning. Have you ever seen some apples are left over from winter, still on the branches? This one tree had just the one apple in the tips of its branches. It would not fall to be eaten, and when a robin tried to peck it away, it held its own. At the time of writing this poem, I was severely depressed. Soon after writing it, I came across a poem by Mark Piercy titled "The Art of Blessing the Day." The final stanza says, quote, "What we want to change, we curse and then pick up a tool. Bless whatever you can, with eyes and hands and tongue. If you can't bless it, get ready to make it new." Mark Piercy. I tend to look for balance in all that I witness or experience ever since I can remember. There is no light without dark, joy without knowing grief, life without death, negative without positive. Laurie Cabot states that, quote, "The law of polarity and rhythm require that all things be balanced by their opposites." With that, I am going to my poem, Autumn Syndrome, which appears in both books to demonstrate how this works. Autumn Syndrome. Iodized yellow cysts, determined to fall, bob in today's charcoal air off the arms of two elderly trees. Doomed to become happy, the piebald crab apples will feed deer, birds, ants, earth, maybe you or me. The older the apple, the sweeter its bitter be. Newborns are bitter crabs until they bruise sweet decay. Humans are the opposite of apples. Newborn, we are candied only, to slowly dissolve into bitter crabs as age autumns would have us. Our bruises are never sweet. This poem has the potential of reversed balance. I witnessed people grow softer and sweeter as they age. But in the meantime, how do we survive harm from others, be they petty or to the extremes of abuse and bruising? This next poem was inspired by a prompt from Daniel B. Lee of the John Hay Poets for us to write a November poem on either wishbone or backbone. In my continued seeking for balance, I wrote of both, and it appears in my book, The Inviolable Hours, published by Finishing My Test. ridding the harmful. Instead of breaking the wishbones of Thanksgiving, I've kept them full with wishes. I don't want to hurt anything, especially that which once connected a why to wings. In the comfort of my own despair, I honor the backbone I seldom knew was here. From the beginning of me, it seems someone or a group of them has wanted to crumple me like a bag of dirty laundry. You have to go back home, some said. No, I say, I don't. You create it for me day by day, disc by disc. Those people would pull so greedily on a wishbone, the magic would snap in the snap because they are ignorant. Instead of breaking the wishbones of Thanksgiving, I've kept them full with wishes. I don't want to hurt anything, especially that which once connected a wine to wings. My vertebrae mean everything to me. No one can break me. Sometimes we try to avoid grief, drama, rejection. But in this action, I wonder, is it worth it? To walk around in self-armor, protection every day. This next poem, a love poem, I think demonstrate. The sad part of this story is that I don't see him anymore. But the best thing is, I'll never forget him. A road affair. That's also in my infallible hours. A road affair. My motorcycle man, your astute stare behind black rose separates you from the packs. Black leather, trimmed beard, combat wind whippings each workday morning. Each workday morning, you make my commute almost worth it. Your right hand steers, left hand props chill on thigh, box strand, bend in a wrapped head, cocked to one side, loving the ride. My motorcycle man, let's never exchange names. What we do, whom we know or knew, where we live, places we've been and when. Let's never argue or bring up exes. Blame each other for lost thoughts or things. Talk weather or break each other. Each workday morning, let's meet. Same time, same place. Cruising by at 30. Opposite ways. Yes, beautiful. Love and beauty are poetry, risen from darkness and dark times. We must have both to endure. It's up to us to keep it all in balance. We each find our own way to heal and move forward. The next poem is soon to appear in Telus Journal, based out of Italy, in the theme Animal and Water. Frog reflection. Of all of the overlooked, underappreciated lives, frogs seem to fluctuate between love and hate, folklore to biology, fascinating or feared, or simply ignored. I have always known the beauty of the presence of the frog. This closing poem is from the first stanza of the longer poem, found in Harboring Perfect, titled Notes for the Poet Apprentice. It was recently published in May of this year, 2022, by the Sailor's Review, a lovely magazine based out of Zimbabwe, Africa. My friend I met through Oceanside Library, who Diana introduced me to Oceanside. Beforehand, it was chosen to be read at my graduation while receiving my MFA in writing from BCFA 2017. Thank you all for this invitation to read and for attending and paying attention. I love you for it. Earth Apprentice. Dear sojourner in this life, why rush the calls of two geese in flight, or a youth hawk screeching for prey, or the muffle of ravens mid-air? Why breathe if it does not loosen your grasp and escape from the backs of the birds? If you wish to learn the ancient art of letting go of what you loved, then show me a gesture that dances all four seasons at once, to be the rush of a spinning top, one arm in the past, the other toward the future. Thank you. Yeah.
So we will now move to some question and answers. And the reason we leave a lot of time for that is this is a room full of writers. So you have things to ask. You want to start as one of our colleagues from the college? Oh, come on. No? Or a comment?
I appreciate what you've written, and I would like to be able to read some of it. There's a lot of spirit.
Thank you. Like you said in an earlier in the in my bio, I say
It's hard to get.
I like to get into because the words came to me when I was very young.
I can offer people want to ask questions. I can tell
We
you.
had no choice.
I think that's something you wrote about, you know, like both about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm a laborer and I love to work in my hands and
You include that in your ones that you publish.
no, I'm saving those for we have this connection for housekeeping and how much the nurse that takes. And, I'm putting it together a special collection about housekeepers.
Don't you love when somebody says she has no question?
You just
you know, maybe. We could talk the whole course. I mean, I would ask you questions.
Okay, over here.
How did you happen to start writing poetry?
Well,
Amber, you need to use that.
I actually.
Online.
Sorry. People online need to hear.
Hi, everyone. How did I begin writing poetry? I started writing at age 9. Like the simple things. But at age 11, my brother's dog died, and he used to be there with me when I was shooting hoops at the basketball court. So Muffy had passed away. It was about, I don't remember how many months it was, but when I was, just trying to, practice shooting hoops, these words kept repeating in my head. And I set my basketball aside and I ran into the house and found pencil and paper. And I went back to the basketball court to write about our beloved mother. But from then on, I wrote a flurry of poems. It just, the words kept repeating in my head, like, ever since that. So I was thinking, am I crazy? But they needed to be written down, and since age 11, and so I suppose dealing with grief has been there ever since, and poetry endures and helped me through that. You're welcome.
Having come to the poetry dance quite late in life, quite reluctantly, because I don't consider myself a poet, but I give it a good try. I know what inspires me. And I'm very much like you. These are not words that are from me, they're from somewhere else that come through me and I can put them on paper. What do you consider your source of inspiration these days?
These days, anything just small and beautiful, like the wind out here. I mean, check this out if you can. Just these moments of just, it's very simple, and it, like I said earlier, it just makes me pause and appreciate beauty and life whenever I can.
Thank
You're welcome. I do have a question.
You have to give them a minute, because sometimes it takes them around. Or it takes a push. You would have a question, because you didn't.
I never say anything because I might find
No,
myself
you
in
don't
a
have to
hole.
say.
How many hours a day do you actually sit down? What portion of your life, during the week do you actually?
These days, I'm a laborer. I work 40 hours a week on my feet. I get up, I try to get up early in the morning. And I notice that the robins start calling each other 4:30 sharp. So sometimes I kind of get up at 4 o'clock. But sometimes, I can be, I can sleep in. That's okay.
One reason I asked, I know Diane Lee writes her name all the time.
Yes. So me and Diane Lee have that in common where it's constant, and so really these days, currently, are my days off. When I can actually know that I don't have to go anywhere. So Tuesday, Wednesday, so thank you, Tapestry, and for Greg taking the day off to bring me here. So yeah, that's my current, just where I can finally relax and let it flow. But early morning is my best time to write. By 11 o'clock, forget it. By 11 o'clock, forget it. Yeah, I'm done.
So I'm gonna ask her, because she is really into music, and there's some music in your poem. Is there a good music question about her writing?
I don't know, because I'm an instrumentalist, and even growing up, I never listened to the lyrics, and we listened to music. I do like, excuse me, the way that the verse kind of has a rhythm to it. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I grew up in a Christian church, and with my father at the pulpit, and we sang. And I wonder if that might be how, because I never read, I didn't have time. I was out, chomping the woods and looking for seashells and stuff like that. So as much as my father hurt me growing up, I can appreciate him for being the instrument for singing. So I think that I know I can contribute some of that to him or to somebody.
Is somebody else at this table?
Oh.
I don't know.
We had a question here.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Hi.
I missed it.
You mentioned you're an artist as well, a visual artist.
Oh, yes, Greg, can you bring me, yes, ma'am.
And I'm just wondering which comes easier. Do you paint a lot? Does the
No.
painting or the poetry?
So I am, thank you for asking. These are both my creations. And they are from so it's a wonderful question. When I know that I have time, no one can bother me, that sort of thing, I can sit down and do this. These I created, I sent in from a couple from older paintings. And I had time then. So when I do have a chance to do painting, love it. So I'll thank you for reminding me.
And let me add something, as her teacher,
I used to love getting her papers that had sketches. Where she would move back and forth, you could see from the words and what she saw. Just beautiful, and they were pencil sketches. So she was not thinking art. But the two together makes a totally different contribution than just one or the other. Remember with the name Amber Rose Crowtree. We were destined for art.
That's really sweet. Thank you. Yeah, my mother named me Amber Rose. I chose my last name.
I wanted to ask that too.
Okay, yeah, I chose my last name.
Can you comment about that choice?
I guess. No, I chose my last name. It's not my birth name, but my mother named me Amber Rose. So that she is a poet, she's a gardener. So Crowtree comes from when I was 15 years old. Dreams that I had constantly about crows and perched in a tree. And they were, I don't know, crows have been with me since I was a kid. So watching them, being observant, when I turned into my 20s, I went to the local court and said, this is my name, I want to rename myself. It was just me and the judge there, and it took a whole year, like a birth, right? To get my paperwork from when I was born in South Dakota, and to get all the paperwork that, oh, you do exist, this is now who I am. So it was a full year of production. And they asked me, do you want to change your name on your birth certificate? I said, no, no thank you. I was not born under that. So, it took 70 bucks to get my birth certificate and a year long to, but I put them together. I was going through a full term of like, I know I need to change my name. There's something that has to happen. And I saw a crow in a tree on my way to visit family. It's like, oh, duh. So that's how I think that's.
Other questions, Sandy?
What's that?
Now, I'm sitting here, even though Diana keeps telling me I really am a poet, I'm a totally different kind of poet, so I admire you hearing things. And I like writing what I call ditties. Most of them are kind of cutesy little things that I've been writing forever, but that's how I like to express myself, but it's not nearly as deep and as rewarding as what I hear. You've read, you've spoken to us, and I've read some of the poems. So she'll tell me I'm lying, but that's okay.
There's all kinds of style.
There you go.
A little PS, yours are rewarding.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Exactly what I was going to say. I love that. Thank you so much. No, that's humor brought me up very much. I didn't put it in my poems. humor was another one of my dad's. You know, he can be humorous, but hurtful, but so try to balance between the two. Just gotta figure out which is not harmful. And my boyfriend and I love to watch Andy Griffith or you know, Seinfeld or whatever. Just humor really brings us through a lot of stuff. And bad times. So I definitely
Speaking of life partners, kudos to you. Because living with a poet is not easy. I mean, most talks to me, and here's me going on, and I'll be writing, and he goes, "You haven't heard a word I said." I know, I'm on the second stage, and don't bother me.
I know, it's probably if I get to sleep in, it's better because that way she's up there working. And if I get up and start banging around, making coffee, doing all this other stuff, I'm almost gonna get in the way, so.
no,
Works
Natalie,
perfect.
you're
You're
totally.
a very special partner.
Yes, yes. There was a time when we first moved in to Grafton, we put up like this, you'll see this curtain, like to put me in a corner, and I always wear earplugs when we work. Just because, just as simple as, but yes, Greg is very patient. I believe I put that in my book as in my thank yous for being patient, and that's about it. Are you totally good? He's very.
Joan? Question?
Well, I'm just fascinated by the Crowtree. I'm so glad that's your name because one of the most beautiful, happiest places I ever knew was a Crowtree that was right at the back of our woods where I used to live when I was raising my family. And every night the crows would fly in from I don't know where, and they would come to roost. But there must have been 20, 30 of them in this tall oak tree. And for a while, they would just make all kinds of fuss and carry on. And maybe they were exchanging messages about their day, I don't know. But then, after a while, they settled into playing games. And their favorite game was knock the other bird off the end of the limb. And they would all line up, and then they would begin going like this until one on the end had to go. And they had so darn much fun. And when one of them would finally give up and fly, they'd all sort of laugh. You could tell. And they would scold whenever our cat came out or the dog came out. And I thought, I'm so happy that you chose that name. Because it's a wonderful, life-filled, natural, beautiful English. And it just suits you.
I love you for that. Thank you so much.
So any more questions or should we go off the book?
Yeah.
You see why we do questions?
Yeah.
It's a benefit for both families.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I'm so honored.